All right. It's Kevin Garcia, a.k.a. the Puerto Rican Kid KG. This is Fight Hype. And I got the man himself, the voice, some would say, of Philadelphia boxing at this point. Greg Hackett, appreciate you being with me today, bro.
Thank you. How you feel?
I'm feeling good. We're here in Philly at DSG, Danny Garcia's gym. He just had a workout. And I figured I got to talk to my man Greg Hackett about everything Philly, at least the hottest topics right now.
Yeah.
And some would say, probably the three biggest boxers out of here at this point in time: Danny Garcia, Ennis, and Boy Steph, Fulton.
Yeah.
So let's start with Danny. He just worked out. Danny is moving up to 160. What are your thoughts on that move? And do you think he should stay at that weight class and potentially after this fight think about 154?
I mean, it's all in how he feel. He looked good. I believe the contracted weight gonna be 157. So he should be still fast and powerful at the same time. I think it's also a great matchup, him and Lara. It could be somebody else, but I think this is almost perfect. It's a great matchup.
Lara's tricky. Tricky.
Sure.
A lot of people say he beat Canelo. That's always been a controversial thing.
Right.
How does somebody like Danny beat Lara? How does he deal with them?
I mean, that Lara and this Lara is two different Laras. I mean, the Lara we have now is more patient. He take his time on his feet. He placing his left hand a little better. He become like a real good setup artist. He always been a setup artist, but he more settled now. More like a sniper, you know what I mean? He's settled. So Danny, I see what Danny gonna have to do is put his points together until he can get him in a vulnerable situation to knock him out. Do we have to knock him out? He don't have to, but he do have to be on his ass a little bit.
Yeah. And then the world is, Danny wins this fight, the world is his, right?
Yeah.
He'll be a champ at 160. And like I just mentioned, there's a lot going on at 160. You got Jaron back with 2 belts.
Yeah.
Obviously, Danny will have the WBA, and then you got Adamas with the WBC belt.
Yeah.
But then at 154, there's killers down there too. You got Crawford, Fedor Spence, and Mert Ziley, right?
Yeah.
What direction does he go, Greg? And who?
It's all in with his heart telling. We talking about Danny, right?
What do you think, though?
I mean, I don't know, because you always got to base it on how you felt that last night. You know what I'm saying? When he wake up on Sunday after the fight and you see how he feel, win, lose, or draw, that'll tell us what's the next move. You know what I mean? It's hard to tell right now because I don't know what type of fire he possesses. He must possess some type of fire to take a fight like this on that level, to fight a Lara. You know what I mean? You don't have to come back and fight Lara. You're still Danny Garcia, so you could pick so many guys. So that tell me he really want to do something. So I don't know. Sounds like to me he might have 2 more. And as far as direction, whatever makes sense.
There you go. All right, let's switch gears. Cool Boy. We haven't seen him since the Inouye fight.
Yeah.
What do you think we can expect different, especially now that he's at 126?
I mean, the demeanor tells me strictly business. You know what I mean? He's not coming to play. He's not really giving up too much. I think that's smart on his behalf because from what we last saw is only how we can judge him. You know what I'm saying? Took a tough loss, but to a great fighter. So is there still something there left? I believe so. I think he's going to go out there nice and mean. You know what I mean? I think we see a better jab. I think we see a little bit better everything.
Yeah, and at 126, there's guys holding belts right now, like Leo with the IBF, Figueroa's got the interim WBC. These are guys that Steph beat before, right? Yeah. So he wins this fight. Would you like to see him back in the ring with one of those 2 guys? And what route should he go? What do you think?
The thing about Cool Boy, right? Every fight gonna be an exciting fight. So it don't matter to me. You know what I mean? Whether it's a rematch or it's somebody new. It don't matter. It's gonna be a great fight. That's what he give out. He give out great energy in his fights. Win, lose, or draw.
There you go. All right, last guy on that Philly list that I wanted to talk to you about, Boots, right?
Yeah.
So at 147, he just got mandated to fight a guy he already beat.
Yeah.
And I hope I don't mispronounce his name too bad, but Chukadze, I want to say is how you pronounce his name. Boots already beat him. It wasn't the prettiest win, but now that's his mandatory.
Yeah.
Do you think he stays at 147, fights this guy, as part of his IBF mandatory, or does he move up to 154? I
mean, it depends on what makes sense. It's crazy because I would like to see Brian Norman, Barrios, one of those guys. Who's the third guy? Stanley Ennis.
Yeah, Stanley Ennis.
I would love to see one of those guys. Obviously, they're not interested, or maybe they just can't come to terms. Who knows? But to see him with Karen again, it doesn't really pique my interest. But at the same time, it's unfinished business. I didn't really get to beat you up like I like to beat people up. So maybe we can run it back, depending on the terms.
Yeah, and I get it because it's his mandatory. But, I mean, at this point, I think Boots is looking to make his name or, see his name grow. He just had a fight in Philly, brought it home, had a nice turnout. Do you think that takes away from that ability? Does that, take him 2 steps back? Does the average boxing fan want to see him fight one of those guys? Or, like you said, Norman, Stanionis, Barrios?
The only people it's going to take away from is the people who just don't like Boots or they just don't like boxing. Because at the end of the day, Boots is a showman. He like to put on a show, and that's what you're going to get. So I feel like if it's gonna have to be Karen, then it gotta be Karen. It's better than sitting. You don't want to sit. That's the poison. When you're just sitting and you're rotting. You know what I'm saying? But when you're active, you're more dangerous. So keep him dangerous.
There you go. There you go. All right, 2 non-Philly questions for you. Ortiz, Bochu, they just fought. Some people think it was a controversial decision that Ortiz didn't actually win. What do you think?
I believe the same thing. Bochu, he didn't look exciting. He wasn't super fast. He wasn't super strong, but he was consistent. He was consistent with his 1-2 down the middle, consistent with the uppercuts. He was consistent. He didn't have the best defense and things like that, and he kept it at a close pace where he was giving himself away to Virgil. Where Virgil could put his hands on him, but Virgil wasn't able to get rid of him. Had him hurt a few times, but Virgil got knocked down a couple times. That's the game. But that fight should have been called a draw if they was going to do that. Only because it was entertaining. It was a great fight. It was a fight I would like to see again. I would like to see number 2 with them.
There you go. I think most fans would agree with you. Canelo Berlanga, does Berlanga have a shot at all? He's a heavy underdog.
Every man has a shot. We got to be fair. But are you willing to take the shot? That's the question. You in there with Canelo Alvarez, you know what time it is. The level, you're not used to it, but you know what time it is. You know what it's going to be hitting for. He got to be 100% focused. If he's not 100% focused, then he's going to be in trouble. It's just that simple. Berlanga got to go for broke.
You think he has a shot? It's not impossible.
Of course, he a man. You fighting another man. The thing is, though, are you going to feel like a man that night or the man that night?
There you go. Well said. Last question for you, Greg. I appreciate your time. So I just spoke to Danny a little while ago about this. I brought it up to Cool Boy. You know, these are guys who, you know, they from Philly, they local cats. It's not like they was born or, you know, hot in the suburbs somewhere.
Right.
They've never been in any trouble. They never made any headlines.
Right.
What do you think, or any advice, or just what are your thoughts on Devin Haney and the incident he just had where unfortunately it looks like he got into a skirmish at a carnival? Some people fought. Any thoughts on that at all?
I mean, it's always good to stay out the way. You know what I mean? No matter what's going on. If you stay out the way, you know you'll be here for at least another day. You feel me? You just be cool. You know what I mean? Things could turn real bad. And I know it's easier said than done because people play around these days. They say a lot of crazy stuff out their mouth. But then you got to look at the person and you got to really weigh yourself up versus that person in the fight. Is it worth it right now? I could punch on this man, but am I going to get paid for it? You know what I mean? So you got to stay out the way. Philly is tough. You got to stay out the way because things could escalate drastically, super fast. You know what I'm saying? So gotta stay out the way, but you know it is what it is. They young men, they gotta learn from life. You know what I mean? Gotta learn from incidents like this. Sorry that it's that way, but they still are men, and you know it get like that, it get physical sometimes. But you gotta be careful too, because you got people out here looking to attack your pockets and things like that. You know what I mean? So just be cool, stay out the way. You don't gotta be. He didn't have to be at the carnival. He could have had the carnival come to him if he wanted. He Devin Haney. Let's be real.
Yeah, you said it. You said it. Greg, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate your fight hype. Before we let you go, anything the fans or anybody out there should know about what Greg Hackett got going on?
I mean, GHB TV on YouTube, Greg Hackett 86 on Instagram, Greg Hackett 215 on X, Greg Hackett on Facebook. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Fight hype. We out.
Yes,
Peace.
Sir.